Okay, for this video we're going to be looking at expressions. So we're going to be taking a look at expressions here in this video. First word is a word we should have already seen before, and that's variable. Variable, again, just as a refresher, is a symbol that represents one or more numbers. So when we're talking about a variable, we're talking about something that is representing a number, and it's usually a letter that does that. So like the letter N is a very common variable, or the letter X is another really common variable that you're going to see, or letter S, or letter U. One you don't see a lot often is O, and we don't have O because O looks like 0, so we don't want to get confused. So we probably don't want to use that. But any other letter would be a good idea to use, or you'll end up seeing as a variable being used. Okay, another definition we have here is algebraic expression. An algebraic expression is a mathematical phrase with at least one variable. So a mathematical phrase with at least one variable. So picking apart some keywords in here. You know that in your expression you should have at least one variable. So you're going to have some letter in there somewhere. That's the first thing. So like the letter N. Also, we need to have a mathematical phrase. A mathematical phrase is something that is mathematical. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, something that's involving some operation. So I could have N plus 2. We have our variable N, we have our mathematical phrase plus 2, so that gives us our algebraic expression, N plus 2. We could have a different algebraic expression, 3 minus x. We have our variable x, we have our mathematical phrase 3 minus. Okay? So when we're talking about expression, we're talking about something that does not include an equal sign. We need to make sure we realize that. No equal sign. Okay? When we start including equal signs, we're talking about something else, which we're going to talk about over the next few days. Okay, once you include an equal sign in there, it's no longer an expression, it's an equation. And we're only worrying about expressions right now. So let's take a look here. We want to evaluate some expressions. So, off the bat, I'm telling you, anywhere where we see an S, that's a 3. Anywhere where we see an H, that's really a 5. Anywhere where we see a C, that's a 2. So I'm going to say, this is example A here. And my first expression is S plus 2 times H. Okay, so there's my expression, S plus 2 times H. The first thing I want to do is I want to go through and I want to fill in any of my variables with what letters they really are. So I look at my S first. I can see an S here. I look up to the top. S is equal to 3. So I'm going to sub a 3 in there. Bring down my plus 2, my times. And now I have to look and see what H is. H is 5, so I'm going to plug that in. So I end up with the expression 3 plus 2 times 5. Now I can go ahead and evaluate this, or solve this. So I just follow order of operations. I can do multiplication first. 2 times 5 is 10. And then add 3 to that. 3 plus 10 is 13. So I've now solved or evaluated that expression. Let's do one more of these. We're going to do negative 3 minus C plus S. So again, the first thing I want to do is I want to fill in any variables into where they go in the expression. So my negative 3 comes down, my minus, let's see, C is 2, so I'm going to plug that in. My plus, my S is a 3, so I'm going to plug that in. So I end up with negative 3 minus 2 plus 3. Now I can go ahead and solve this using my order of operations. So I'm going to work left to right. My negative 3 minus 2, add by the opposite. Negative 3 plus negative 2 is negative 5. And now I'm left with negative 5 plus 3, which is negative 2. So my answer is negative 2 here. Okay, moving on. Writing expressions. There's going to be times and places where you have to actually write out the expression. So they're going to give it to you in words, and you need to put it in numbers, letters, and symbols. Okay, so my first example is a number increased by 7. What I want to do is I want to go through and I want to start picking out keywords. So I'm going to look for keywords that tell me different numbers, tell me variables, tell me operations. So the first thing I can see here is a number. Okay, I know that my number is unknown, so that's going to be my variable n. Then I see the word increased. If I see the word increased, I know that's going to mean addition, so plus. And then I see by 7, so I know that's the number 7. Now I just bring it all together. A number is being increased by 7, n plus 7. And there's my answer. That's it. I can't do anything more with that until I know what n is, so that's all I have. That's my answer. Let's look at example B. Example B is 3 less than a number. 3 less than a number. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go through, pick out keywords that tell me numbers, variables, operations. So I see the number 3 right here. So I know there should be a 3 in there. I see less than. Less than should tell me that there's going to be some subtraction. And then I see the word number, which tells me a variable. In this case, I'm just going to pick n. You can pick any letter you want. So number is our variable. So I end up with 3 less than a number. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Anytime I see the word than, less than, more than, that means I need to switch the order around that it tells me in the problem. So instead of having 3 minus n, because I see the word than, I need to switch those around. So it needs to be n first, minus 3. 3 less than a number. Our number minus 3. Again, anytime I see the word than, that's telling me that my order needs to flip. It needs to switch. Let's take a look at our next example, example C. The product of a number and 12. The product of a number and 12. I'm going to go through and find my keywords. So product, multiplication of a number. So there's my variable. Let's use x. And then I see the number 12. So there's 12. So if it's the product of a number and 12, it's multiplication between 12 and our number. X times 12. You could also say 12x, because we know that if the coefficient's in front of the variable, it's just multiplication between the two. So either one of these would work, x times 12 or just 12x. Let's look at our last one, 30 divided by a number. So I can see that I have 30 here. I can see that I have divided. And then I have by a number. We go back to n. And now when I go through, I can put this all together. 30 is divided by n. 30 divided by n. 30 divided by a number. There's my answer. Again, key being here, anytime I see the word than, that's telling me I need to switch the order. Okay, whatever came first in the expression is really going to go last. Whatever came last is really going to go first. Again, anytime I see that word than, more than, less than, okay, that's telling me my order needs to switch.